Everybody ready to get started? Yes, sir. Thank you very much. We're on the same page. Everybody being here today, and the time I realize the rain also. Appreciate you here and joining us today. With that, we're going to move right in and get forward. It looks like we have a forum, and I want to make sure we can get going. And my name is Chris Evans. I'm the new executive director of the Opioid Meeting Advisory Commission. And again, I want to thank everybody for coming, participating, all the commission members, as well as those in the public who are with us today. And we appreciate all of your attendance. With that, I'd like to go ahead and go through the roll call. I'm not sure if we have everybody on the line. Site person on the agenda is? Thank you. So we'll get started. And if you can just acknowledge that you're here. Ms. Butcher?
Here.
Mr. Cameron? Here. Dr. Freeman?
Here.
Thank you. Secretary Freelander?
Here.
Mr. Ingram?
Here.
Treasury Secretary Metcalf?
Here.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Murray?
Here.
Dr. Root?
Here.
All right. Thank you. And in addition to the commission members, also staff, Allison Shavis is with us, and as well as Jesse Halliday, who's transitioning in, who's going to be the deputy, so everybody's aware of who's at the table and who's with us today. The next order on the list is to make sure that everyone received a copy of the agenda for this meeting. And we want to affirm that that is the case. Thank you very much. That has been prepared and provided to all members and to those in the room as well. So we will get started with the meeting itself. This is the first order of business meeting schedule. And as you will note in your agenda, those items have already been voted on by the commission members, are set and scheduled, and we'll move forward. For those who may not have it or have it ready, those schedule runs from February through June, and all meetings will take place here at 1024 Capitol Center Drive, Suite 200 in Frankfort. And so for any in the public or any of those items will be published and will be made available. So we do, one of the things, again, going through that needs to take place, we want to make sure is that before moving into the other aspects of the agenda, that we can get that moved and approved by the commission. If I can get somebody to make a motion for that.
So moved.
And a second?
A second.
Thank you. If you show on the record that that agenda has to be approved. Apart from the business meeting schedules, you've got on your agenda the executive director updates, and so this will be brief. I've mentioned to some of you in the discussion briefly here before that we want to make sure that this is the business meeting, but the first order of business that I want to thank all the returning members for your service and the work that you have done and the things that you've put forward. It's a testament and it's a great thing for the Commonwealth of what you've done. I also want to welcome Senator Metcalf as another new member, and welcome to this body.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining also. Another thank you goes out to Commissioner Dick Brown, who has served on this commission, as many of you know, and you should have a copy. I spoke to Commissioner Brown, and he had a number of scheduling conflicts and things that were pending, and had communicated this to the prior staff, my predecessor, that he was going to be transitioning off of the commission. So he has provided a copy of that information to the commission, so you all have a copy of that. He had asked that I point out some things for that. And some he would really want to make sure everybody was clear that he was proud to work with the commission, grateful for the opportunity to serve, supported the commission's effort to try new approaches like Abatement, and was appreciative to all the committee members. And then following up with Dick's comments and the appreciation that for me, and I want to make sure that I express my appreciation to all of you for the ability to work with me and join me in this journey. I've spent 29 years of my life in this effort and keeping the public safe. And so I look forward to being able to continue to serve in that effort. I think there's a special thing that comes from trying to serve the public and the people of the Commonwealth who deserve the best that they can get and the best that we can give. I know you have all been doing that, and I want to thank you for that as you move forward. I also know that there are a number of things that are out there in the process that's going forward. And as you have funded things, I've really kind of looked at some of them, and to me, they're almost like lanterns of light under the darkness that's out there. To provide people with hope and opportunity to improve lives And I want to look forward that we continue to do that. And we do that across all parts of the Commonwealth and for every population in the Commonwealth. And that's my commitment, that I want to make sure that we move forward and do that as we go forward. I know there are various discussions and policies that we want to get into. There's talk about funding for specific programs that people might get into. And where people are curious and want to know about issues such as Abatement or the Attorney General's comments about we might have a strong new prevention program. And we will get to fulsome discussions of those, but for this meeting today, it's a business meeting. And I would remind all of you and all the present that this is 1 week into this process. Last Tuesday, about an hour from now is when I got sworn in. So in fairness to everybody and to make sure we're clear, I want to make sure we have the opportunity to be educated about all the issues, to have a full understanding of the working of the commission, how it operates, what's necessary to, again, make sure we can ensure the best process. So that in mind, today's meeting will be a very business-like meeting to go through those things. We're going to limit to those needs that need to have, the things that need to happen to make sure we can continue to push funds and continue to cite and help those who are out in the real world. So I just wanted to add that in a little bit and make sure that we go through. There will be a time and we will engage in those more sensitive conversations, but just today is not the day for that. With that, I also want to make sure that the other new member, Secretary Metcalf, has the opportunity to make comments to the commission.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I come to this commission having been a state and federal prosecutor, having organized an anti-drug coalition in my home county of Garrett County, having worked with students, teachers, school officials, and having worked intensely with our rehab centers across the state. And I can't think of a better way to spend my time and the time of my agency than participating in the effort of this commission, and I look forward to its work.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. The next item on the agenda is the minutes. Before we do that, is any other comments that any other commissioners want to make before we move into the minutes? So, we'll do so now. If not, we'll move directly into the last minutes.
Is this our only time that we will get to make comments?
It is, because we're going to go through the next minutes. There will be opportunities for the public to make comments, but I wanted to make sure there's an opportunity for all the members to make comments.
I would just say, this is a very high attendance for our meetings. Curious to see who the room is made up of, but I guess we'll get to that in public comments.
That would work. With that, we'll move forward, and I wanted to first ask all members if I had an opportunity to review the meeting minutes from the last meeting on December 13th. If so, if there's any comments or actually if I can get a motion to discuss that.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Any additional discussions necessary about those meeting notes or any comments that anybody has in regards to that? Then I will see if there's a movement to amend to move those into the record, and if so, being no disagreements with that, I would ask if all are in favor. So we say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. So moved. Thank you. Make sure we've got all of those recorded. And so we'll go through. The next items that's on the agenda is the subcommittee breakouts. We have both the treatment and recovery breakout in conference room C, as well as the prevention, reform, and compliance in conference room D. At this time, we move into those subcommittee meetings, and we will need motions to dismiss the subcommittee meetings. If I need a motion, somebody?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Thank you very much. At this time, we'll move into the breakout of the subcommittee meetings.
And I think the public needs to know that they are welcome to attend.
They are, the entire meeting.
It's a new day in Louisville, a day where children play on a brand new playground in Central Park, where new businesses are opening from Barrett Avenue to Shelby Street, from Oak Street to Dixie. Today, more families will move into new, affordable homes, more than at any time in the past decade. And with these investments, they can look forward with confidence to the future. It's a new day in Louisville. And under the leadership of Councilman Baker, our district is filled with hope, progress, and promise. Let's keep the momentum going.
I just want to give a little bit of my testimony about.
Hello, my name is Mariam Muhammad, and I am the owner and director of Youth Outreach Intervention Center. We are located at 1169 Eastern Parkway, Suite 210, Louisville, Kentucky, 40217. Please call us at 502-224-6750 to schedule your confidential appointment today.
Well, I would say follow me, but I'm not moving.
Prevention's on this side. Sorry, yeah, we should go the hallway. Yes, prevention's on the left.
Headed back.
You're headed back there, okay.
Sorry, I'm gonna sneak around.
That's all you follow. You first.
Yes, sorry.
How are you?
That's prevention? Over here. Yeah. I was like,
Sorry, if you guys are coming in, we're gonna have to close this door.
this is treatment? My bad. Okay.
Prevention.
We're gonna go. We're gonna go to prevention. Oh, prevention is packed, y'all. It was packed last month. It is, but this is where our lane. This is like.
Hey, do you have some kind of paper sheet saying?
Let's just let it be known.
Just one?
Sorry, you guys will have to.
Thank you.
Sorry, I've got to be able to get all the commission members on camera for open meetings, so I just can't have anyone blocking me or the camera, just to make sure we're in compliance. And then if everybody can squeeze in, and we'll have to close that door, sorry.
You might want to go all the way over there.
Oh, well, I just have to get, all these people, yeah.
Her camera's right there. I'm sorry.
Right where? Where's the camera?
Right over here on this computer.
Thank you.
And then again, well, you're gonna cover that close. And if you guys can come on in so we can close that door.
Because there'll be one. On the Zoom. But we're the ones on this
Good morning, everyone. This afternoon, see, I caught you. Let's go right into that. This is a meeting of the Treatment and Recovery Subcommittee of the Kentucky Opioid Abatement Advisory Commission. I can say this is our most well-attended meeting of this subcommittee. We welcome everyone here.
Either step that way or stand over here. Just don't trip on the cord.
At this time, I'd like to call this meeting to order and do a roll call of our subcommittee members. Dr. Trish Freeman.
Here.
Dr. Jason Root.
Here.
Karen Butcher.
Here.
And Van Ingram is here as well. We could provide it as the minutes of our last meeting, which was December 13th, 2023.
I move that we accept those. Oh, adopted.
Oh, can we adopt this agenda, Jason?
Yes.
How about Trish?
Yes.
Thank you. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. Next is our minutes of December 13th meeting.
I move to accept the minutes.
Second.
All right, seconded by Dr. Roop. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. New business is consideration of application review committees. For those that are new to this, the work of this committee is to review applications that have been submitted to us, decide whether or not those will be funded, and make that recommendation on to the full commission. As of now, I'm told there are about 40-some applications in the queue. Is that correct, Allison?
42.
Just for this.
42, yes, for this committee.
No, well, in total.
For both.
Oh, in total, okay. The bulk of it won't be this committee.
Yeah, yes.
Sure. We currently have a meeting scheduled on January the
30th.
30th, 10 a.m. in this room. Once we know, Allison, are we safe in saying that at least half of those are ours?
Yes, so we'll need to go on and schedule 2 February dates and 2 March dates to
Okay,
be safe.
okay. Let's get our calendars out, folks.
Over half of those.
Over half, yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like to be able to go over 10 on the 30th. If you could have 10 assigned to us on the 30th. Is that a fair number, Karen? I know we've done more, I know we've done less, but that just sounds around. It'll take us a little bit to get back in the swing. Looking at February, that week of the 4th through the 7th, I'm in DC all that week. I am available on the 9th.
That would work for me.
I could do it in the afternoon.
1 o'clock on the 9th,
Yes.
is that fair?
It's for me.
Yes.
What time did you say?
1, Friday, February 9th. Say 1 to 3.
Oh, wait a minute, I've got that whole day, I'm sorry. I was looking at the wrong day.
I'm booked in the morning,
Okay, so 1 o'clock.
yeah. Let's say 1 p.m. to 3. If we have to end up staying a little longer, we will. And you said one other date now, Allison?
Yeah, one other date in February. Might want to do mid to late February, just to be on the safe side. Give us some time between applications.
I'm looking good on February 21st, 22nd, 23rd. Everybody else?
Those are all good for me.
What dates?
22nd is out for me.
What about keep it on Friday and do it Friday the 23rd,
It's good.
10 a.m.?
Yep, that works.
Give Jason time to get here,
Yep.
the 23rd. Is this room available, Alice, as far as we know?
Let me double check on it. Yes, all the rooms are available.
We'll shoot for 10 to noon on that day. So that gives us 3 good meetings between now and the end of February. I think we'll be able to accomplish a lot.
Yeah.
In that time. Do we need to vote on that, Allison?
Yeah, do you want to go on and just set the March, because I know how busy your all schedules get. That
Okay.
way, we've got something on,
Sure,
because we can always cancel.
sure.
Much easier to cancel than to do the other.
Dr. Freeman, can you hear me okay? Can you hear everyone okay? Okay.
March 19th to 20th, I'm looking good. How about anybody else? Jason?
Yeah.
Trish, 19th or 20th of March?
The 20th would work better.
Are we talking?
Or the 9th, actually.
March.
Yeah, 19th or 20th would work.
19 or 20?
20th works better than the 19th.
Okay, what time?
I'm open until 4.
Let's go 10 to noon, and we can always go longer if we need to. Okay, so we have we'll entertain a motion that we'll meet February 9th from 1 to 3,
I move that we meet February 9th from 1 to 3.
February 23rd from 10 to noon,
Okay, just do them all.
Yeah. and March 20th from 10 to noon, all of them at 1024 Capitol Avenue.
So moved.
Is there a second? Second by Dr. Root. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, and the ayes have it. That is all I have for new business. Do any other commission members have anything under new business?
I just have to ask this question.
Sure.
about these people in this room. I just wanna know how many of you are here because you have somebody who is either currently in addiction, maybe on the streets, maybe incarcerated because of this opioid crisis, or you yourself are in recovery or have lost somebody. Could you raise your hand?
Wow, that's powerful. Thank you for being here.
I also need to know how many of you are in my group, not necessarily my Georgetown group, but the parents of addicted loved ones. Thank you. Thank you for being here.
Welcome. Sorry for your loss. I'm glad you're here. Anything else?
Yeah, I'd like to know how many of them are here because they support Abatement. Or can say they support it.
Yes, yes, I support it.
Yeah.
All right, we're now into public comments and remarks, so anybody who'd like to make a public comment or remark to this subcommittee is more than welcome to. Don't be shy.
I'd like to just say this is my second time here with you all, and the welcome that I've received in this space, not ever getting involved in politics in any way, shape, or form up to this point, has been really, really nice, and has encouraged me to show up more. And as a young person who was born when this epidemic started, and the people that I've seen, my peers, affected by this, it's encouraging to get involved. So I appreciate you all being who you are and bringing yourselves into this space.
It's very encouraging to hear you say that.
What was your name?
Athena.
Like the goddess.
And your last name? Bannister Short.
Is that hyphenated?
Yes.
Thank you, Zane. Yes, ma'am.
If we submit grant applications, do you want us here for these committee meetings to answer questions?
We have traditionally not. We've filtered our questions through staff. And that's, now our meetings are open on the 9th and the 23rd and the 30th.
Currently, the meetings are open to the public, but if there are any questions for applicants, then we will contact, the staff will contact the applicant.
Okay, thank you.
And sometimes that comes up. We'll have questions and hold an application in lieu to the next meeting so those staff can get those questions answered. Yes, sir.
Yes, my name is Alex Williams. I'm just curious, is this a portion where we can ask you questions in regards to some of the stuff that we're here today for?
Mm-hmm.
So what is the resistance of some people on the other side of not supporting Ibogaine therapy? Just curious as to what their perspective is.
Yeah, I don't have anything to add to that at this point.
Can I?
Sure.
Great question.
Now this is what I tell myself, the story I tell myself, because I have asked that question before and it's come across as rhetorical, it's not. But here's what I think. I think Big Pharma is in the pockets of some people. I think that there are legitimate concerns as far as the cardiac problems, but then also it's been proven through some of the research that there are ways to circumvent that. Now, this will not be a treatment for everybody. There will be some people who won't pass the clinical assessment. But also there's a protocol in place that has to do with, I believe it's magnesium, being administered during that. So, I mean, it seems to me that everything that the people who aren't for it have brought up, there have been solutions to those things. I also think a couple of other things. There's fear involved with anything new. And then also there are a lot of people who are against it, who are closed-minded and don't have anybody affected and haven't lost a son like I have. And if my son were alive today, you know we'd be going to Mexico. But it'd be nice if we could go to Kentucky. Those are just my opinions.
The reason I ask that is because, has anyone in this room ever witnessed anyone who's gone through Ibogaine therapy? So there's some opposition about this topic that no one has really ever witnessed working or not working. And I first-handedly seen somebody 30 days sober leave a treatment center. I flew him to California, and he went through a treatment and his life has never been better. He's now 6 months sober, and the desire to use in a conflict doesn't even come up anymore. You know, the number that I think they say for ibogaine therapy deaths are what, 20 or 30? But the number in the US over the past 2 years is an average of 220 people dying daily for only opioid use. That's just opioid use. We're not talking about other drugs. I'm just keeping it to opioid because this is the Opioid Abatement Committee. So we're worried about this number, and we're worried about the risks. And if you've been afflicted with addiction and alcoholism like I have, there's a daily risk. 5 years ago it was, am I going to live or die each day? The way I was using and drinking. Now I can only speak on the person that I first-handedly saw. If you're opposed to it, I really wish you all would, really just open your mind and say, there's a new possible way of different modality to treat these patients. They're, wanting something different. And under the right setting, it can be a very safe treatment. Like I said, I can only speak on behalf of the client that I saw. And like I said, he is doing wonderful right now. And it was very, very profound for me just to witness where he was and where he is today.
Appreciate you sharing that, Alex. We've heard, how many public hearings over the past year?
3.
3. And just from my vantage point, it's by far and away very positive for the promise that plant medicine can hold. And so your question, what are the barriers to agreeing toward moving down this path? I've read a few, counterpoints. I think accessibility was one of the primary concerns about, making it affordable and accessible for all Kentuckians, which is absolutely important. And, I think that from all of the public hearings that we've heard, I really didn't hear a lot of counterpoints presented at those public hearings in terms of the data, the science behind some of the outcomes. And then I think we were looking at just approving further exploration in terms of clinical trials in Kentucky, which honestly, I'm for whatever works. And I do believe that we have an opportunity here as a commission, as citizens of this Commonwealth, to really offer, at least explore the option of offering something that is so very instrumental, profound, delivers an awakening of sorts in terms of the realization that we're here for more than just our physical bodies would, pretend or allow us to believe or to, subscribe to. So I'm optimistic about what we've heard, what we've discussed, and I hope that we have the opportunity to continue these discussions that would also include staff, Attorney General, and everyone that has a part to play in making this decision.
So my name is Ronnie. I'm at Vocal, Kentucky, and I hear this about Abatement. All right, so I don't understand, so I am a Suboxone user right this month. I have almost 2 years clean, okay? And if somebody is wanting to be done and have something in this life to live for, then they're gonna be done, okay? I understand that we keep wanting to bring something else into the equation, but if we can't get what we already have out here to start, we ain't even offering, people can't take home methadone, we need to work on what we already have instead of trying to bring something else, my opinion, okay, to bring something else in that psychologically, how many people have we heard die from Suboxone? Not very many. None. None to not even the number that you had said. You know what I'm saying? But with the other thing, and I just don't see why we don't try to keep pushing what we got right now instead of bringing in something new, you know? Just my opinion.
So counter to that,
Mhm.
you know, you asked the question, how many people have died from Suboxone? I would ask, how many people have gotten long-term sobriety by using Suboxone? Because my guess is it's very small. I have a son who has used Suboxone. Guess what he did with it? Used it for a while, then he sold it and bought what he really wanted. So I'm not saying that Ibogaine is the only solution, but Suboxone is clearly not the only solution. Methadone is clearly not the only solution. We've got way too many people out here that are in addiction. They go to these clinics for 30 days, get turned right back around, and guess what? They go right back into it. So sorry for the passion, but I have a son that could die any minute while we're standing here talking about this. So it's real daggone important that we consider every alternative. Methadone he's tried, didn't work. Suboxone he's tried. White knuckling it, he's tried, doesn't work. What else can I do? Because I guarantee you, any of you that have a child in addiction, there's not a thing you wouldn't do to save that child. Not a thing. So anybody who's objecting, I want you to come live with me for a little while. Because I want you to know what it feels like as a parent not to be able to do a darn thing to save a child. And rely on people you don't know to make a decision about something they don't seem to care to know about that could potentially give me hope, my family hope, and my son a life. Thank you.
I want to add on to that as well. I've got, one son passed away a year ago on fentanyl poisoning. Another son is an addict. We've done them all. 5-6 years of methadone. If you don't want to get into the methadone story, they use Suboxone, they use Vivitrol, okay? And they help, don't get me wrong, that's what we have today. That's what we have to use today. But let's look at something that maybe can change the whole world. It's done other things in other parts of the country, Mexico, Brazil. Not saying it's gonna be an end all, and like Karen said, it's not for everybody, okay? Some people won't be able to go through that process. But please, and what I'm so proud is Kentucky is the only state that's even looking at this. Let's look at it, we have the funds, let's experiment through it, okay? If it's not right, then we shut it down, but let's don't just shut it off and say, no, we're not gonna do that. Because what we have today doesn't work. And the second part of this whole equation, I see Ship's House guys here, boy's been there, great program. It's the aftercare that we have to focus on. These guys do great job getting these guys clean, okay? But when they get out, okay, especially the ones that are on methadone, their teeth are all rotten, okay? They can't go for an interview. They're intimidated. We need to provide dental care for these guys coming out. When they come out, they have no money. They need to go to sober living. It's $150 minimum a week. The state needs to provide maybe 6 months of sober living. Job training. Some of these rehabs are doing that. So when they come out, they have no job, they have no place to live. It's literally a matter of days before they fall off the wagon. And we're talking about all the money that we're spending, what, $10 million a year on Medicaid to support all this stuff? Well, it's like Groundhog Day. My boys have been through 16 these rehab centers. Long-term, short-term, IPOs, everything. Okay, it's not working. They get out, and 3 or 4 days, if they don't have a job or whatever, they fall off the wagon again. So we need to put money into the aftercare. Now, this Ibogaine works. Okay, we still need the aftercare. Once they get out of Ibogaine, they still need help to get back to life. When they go through these rehab facilities, and I'm gonna say this, and I'm supposed to let people know, it's like a country club. They go into these countries, go into these rehab facilities, they don't have anything to worry about. They're taken care of, they have chores to do, they have meals on their plate, they got a place to sleep, and then that day comes when, congratulations, you graduated, you go out on the street, and life hits it right in the face. So we have to work on that aftercare as well. One thing is though, it's a community problem, so it's a community solution. So my thing to that is I am long-term, I'm 12 to 18 months, and thanks to this committee, I've got
12 female-free beds for a calendar year for you to go in and get sober at. And people in recovery will understand what I'm saying. Stopping using drugs is easy. Staying stopped is a beast. So getting stopped, if they're paused, every drug addict has a pause. During that pause, is where you get your hands on them. And then you don't take your hands off of them. And if we'll do this as a community, we don't ever have to take our hands off. If we'll hand from one provider to the next provider to the next provider, if we'll hand these people back and forth, because they only die when we take our hands off of them. And if you're an old school drug addict like myself, a bad weekend is the Fayette County Detention Center. Today's bad weekend's death. Big difference. You know, I got arrested. Wrong neighborhood, wrong time. Now I'm dead. So we spend all our time on the front end of this thing and not the back end of this thing. And the back end of this thing is daily living skills. So what you're teaching them in the 30 days is you can probably get them into the big book a little bit. You can probably give them a little bit of a support system, but they have to have teeth and a job and all that stuff. That's why we got to do this as a community. So you got to have contracts with job providers in your town. You've got to have a relapse prevention form, meaning, you know, what am I going to do if he relapses? I'm going to call Hillary, stick him in Hillary's 30 days. She's going to give him right back to me. And we're not going to take our hands off of him. If he makes it through, then we've got to go to permanent housing. So if I can get you through the 12 to 18 months, now I can move you over to Waller to the permanent housing. But if you can do that and never take your hands off of them, if you can get them to the 2 and 3 year mark, your success rate goes through the roof. You know, that first 30 to 90 days is terrible, and the relapse is unreal. And then as far as what we're going to do this, whether it's Suboxone or a new approach, whatever it is, look, they're dying anyway. They're dying anyway. So at this point, keep an open mind and then surround whatever system we're doing with treatment and care. Because it doesn't matter if they give them Ibogaine or Suboxone if there's no treatment, recovery, and care. Because all you did is put the problem on pause. We don't want it on pause. We want it in remission. So we've got to be sure that that's our focus. So you can't have a closed mind and get anywhere with this. So you have to have an open mind, but you also have to not waste your pause. So when this drug addict comes to a pause, we have to treat this as a community. And if we'll treat this as a community, and we'll trade back and forth, whether it be treatment plans or next steps, if we'll do that, we'll be successful. But that's only where we're going to do it. There is no miracle cure out there. There's only hard work.
I want to add to your thing. In order to keep business moving, we're gonna have to start limiting comments to 2 to 3 minutes. Because we've got to keep our business moving as well. No, it's okay. It's kind of my role was to keep everything moving, and I know everyone's hot, so just try to please limit to 2 to 3 minutes and to stay. No, because there's other meetings and interviews going on, so we have to close the doors.
Can we not leave one?
Sorry, no, it has to say closed because there's other offices and interviews going on out there. Sorry.
I just want to say right quick that I think we should give Abatement a chance because first of all, it's been proven to reduce the fear of withdrawals. And that's the start. I mean, a lot of them don't want to get help because of that fear of withdrawal. If we can take that away with Abatement, which has shown very good results of less withdrawals, and just a one-time treatment, and you know, they're better where with Suboxone and methadone, this is something you just have to constantly keep taking. So why not explore that, you know? I mean, yes, it's a new drug, and yes, it has some problems, but it's like Karen said, that for every criticism or a problem that you have, there is a solution that we could try to work on to improve that, to keep those down. But I'm just saying, for cancer, people get treatment. We've got to, and they explore new drugs. So with addiction, let's just forward the drug, give it a chance. I mean, there are proven people we've had come in from government agencies that have shown you the good results.
I want to add one thing. That's, going back to Alex's question, I recall reading that maybe the Attorney General currently wants to focus on prevention as opposed to treatment, or more so to dedicate more funding and strength towards prevention, which is, we know that prevention is so essential and primary. I think that what we've learned in life and lived experiences is that addiction is often generational. And so therefore, treatment is prevention. Treatment, prevents in the household the modeling of those addictive thought and behavioral patterns.
Can I piggyback off that? I'm sorry for that.
No, it's okay. I just want to make sure we're not getting into a discussion on, like, between different people, like, between each other. This is for, public comments is for everyone to make their comments, yes.
So this whole room is
not
full of
just
discussion.
Yes, I understand.
And I will say this, so in regards to Suboxone, and, to me, it's like Suboxone, you're treating the drug, you're not treating the person. Because you go so long without Suboxone, and you go, what? Withdrawals. Ibogaine, it's a one and done thing. And then, like everyone has shared, it was the continuing care that is needed for my friend Drew
Afterwards.
that has got him to where he is. Ibogaine itself is just going to get him to a spot where he can finally start his life again. And what we did afterwards is we continued that aftercare with him. He still went home. We continued, Scott and I, we continued making contact with him, making sure that he was taken care of, making sure he was going to his meetings. And I wish you could see who he was and who he is today. And if we would have put him on Suboxone and just treated the drug without treating Drew as a person, it's a matter of time. You get on a plane, you forget your prescription at the house with your Suboxone, you're in New York City, and your prescription's in Kentucky, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
I do think it's incumbent on me to say that this commission cannot approve or disapprove of Ibogaine. The FDA will do that. How this commission moves forward may impact research dollars, and that's all. We will not determine, as a state or as a commission, if Ibogaine is available anyway.
And I think that's where the problem is. I think people are concerned that $42 million could be dumped into a treatment that we don't know. It's just a big maybe, and it makes us feel a little bit nervous.
Look, I want to save my comments till the larger meeting, but I will say this. If we're very intentional and we're going to be conscientious about 42 million or anything going to any form of treatment, then what I came here to talk about, and I really was supposed to be in the prevention one, but I ended up here, so it was just God. But what I will say, as a licensed clinical alcohol and drug counselor for over 16 years of work in social services, so I know what I'm talking about, is what are you going to do about holding treatment centers accountable for the work they have been doing? Because I find it interesting that everyone in the state complains about 42 million, but we spend more than that from taxpayers' dollars, right?
Yeah.
On treatment and recovery efforts, and people died. And guess what? I was a LCADC doing that work too, so I held myself accountable and repented.
And this isn't
Because that's the
taxpayer
thing.
dollars.
And this isn't. So that's the thing. It's like, okay, everyone's making valid points, but let's not forget that we're here because there is a lot of treatment and recovery happening, but who's holding them accountable, and why is it okay to have door after door and have clients tell stories of, I've had 15, 16, 17, we've made it a trend. So we don't want to talk about that, and that's not the question that's being asked, and I'm waiting for somebody to say it, but we're not. So I'll wait, I'm gonna shut up, because I want to take up time then, so I'll be quiet.
I just have like 30 seconds of a comment. Going back to what the gentleman said earlier, we need to look at this at the whole system, because our system criminalizes and penalizes people that struggle like me and like Pony, instead of supporting them with all of those wraparound services. And so that whole system has to be changed, and we have to fund a bunch of different shit. And including from everything from harm reduction to 12-step based.
Medical marijuana.
Yes, all of that.
We don't talk about that.
So the whole system needs a huge overhaul, and that's, yeah.
My name is Justin, I'm an alcoholic. And
I've had a spiritual awakening as a result of the steps of long-term recovery. At first, when I heard Abatement, I thought, I'm not for that. And I've attended every meeting, I've heard all the testimonies. It's completely changed my mind. This group of people in Georgetown started the journey for me to have a real sobriety date. My first AA meeting was in 1999 because I got a DUI without even a driver's license, basically. My sobriety date today is March 1st, 2016. For that day, I'm truly grateful. I've done Suboxone, Vivitrol, been in all the things. I'm qualified to speak on it, talk on it, preach on it, whatever you want to hear. The journey that I've been put into, and the people and the connections, even just with this group and you and my parents, and saying we're not going to enable you anymore. And that's what it took. And then it took the steps. That was my path. And the spiritual awakening from the divine, that's what I see in Abatement. It takes off the 3 years of the pause to say, now we can work with you. Now we can show you what we've got. Because we put in that hard work to get to where we are. And for the state of Kentucky not to say that this is a good idea is, it's the same pharmaceutical companies that waged the war with Oxycontin that's giving you the Suboxone. It's the University of Kentucky that first prescribed me Suboxone. So there's a lot of things. These are the same people at Vivitrol. It was great. I didn't drink for a year. I didn't fix any of those things that were inside of me. The things that were wrong. It was actually Suboxone that saved my life because that's what I got in trouble for. I had a little piece of a Suboxone in a cellophane, and I was going to work, and I got pulled over, and they found it. Ended up putting me on probation, and then going to the Hillen Place in Campbellsville, Kentucky, which now I'm an alumni of the year, long-term recovery, sponsored numerous people. I've been through all the highs and lows, and I don't want that in my life today. Every 9 minutes, somebody dies of an opioid or fentanyl in this country. There's the police officers, they're not stopping it. So it's time that some people stand up and start speaking on it and start making it public, what's really going on. That's all I got.
Thank you. Anybody else real quick? We need to
from
go
Lexington.
to another meeting.
Did you see the announcement today? Overdose alert from our health department. Yeah.
If not anything else, I'm gonna take a motion that we adjourn to the larger meeting.
I have one more thing.
You got one more comment?
Sorry, we need an official.
One more comment. One more comment.
So this is coming from someone who damn near had a gun to her head a week ago. I've been through everything. I've done the Suboxone, I've done the white knuckle, I've done everything. And yes, drugs are the problem, but what else is Ibogaine good for? Depression?
Yes.
Why do I do drugs? Because I hate myself. So let's not forget all the other things that this treatment could possibly give to people with severe depression, anxiety, and drugs. Because you're not gonna stay sober if you're in a hole, white knuckling there. And you can't afford, some people can't afford Suboxone the rest of their life. Some people don't have the support system that I do. So, you can't afford these clinics forever and ever.
Thank you.
You want to be done.
Thank you. Motion adjourned.
A second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion adjourned, carried.
Please go through
It's
the
a
hallway.
new day in Louisville. A day where children play on a brand new playground in Central Park. Where new businesses are opening from Barrett Avenue to Shelby Street, from Oak Street to Dixie. Today, more families will move into new, affordable homes, more than at any time in the past decade. And with these investments, they can look forward with confidence to the future. It's a new day in Louisville. And under the leadership of Councilman Baker, our district is filled with hope, progress, and promise. Let's keep the momentum going.
I just want to give a little bit of my testimony about.
Hello, my name is Mariam Muhammad, and I am the owner and director of Youth Outreach Intervention Center. We are located at 1169 Eastern Parkway, Suite 210, Louisville, Kentucky, 40217. Please call us at 502-224-6750 to schedule your confidential appointment today.
If you do nothing else.
If you do nothing else.
If you do nothing else.
If you do nothing else. If you do nothing else.